So quick video about a few things about Quick Firebrand and the Golem area. So first of all, to get to the Golem training area where you can see your DPS, you can open your map and go to Lion's Arch. You want to go south, all the way south, past the fractal hub. And you will see the entrance to the aerodrome. In there you have all the portals for the raids, and you have the portal for the Golem room. So those are the portals for all the raid rings in Guild Wars, and then you have here the portal for the training area where the Golem is. A few things quickly, you have a special action key. If you use your skills and press the special action key, it will reset their cooldowns. Sometimes it's bugged, but just spam it if it does not work. It's just Guild Wars, you know. This console allows you to give yourself buff. All the boons in the game, you can give yourself what you want, what you need. The standard is to give yourself all boons besides stability and ages, because it's 10 boons, it's what is the average expected in group contents, and some builds have their damage that scales with the amount of boons they have. And here you can summon your golem. By default you spawn average golem, so average size, 4 million HP, and then you want to give the golem conditions. 25 stacks of vulnerability. Some builds want to have specific conditions on them, and some builds want to have a specific number of conditions, but for QFB you just want some vulnerability and you're good to go. 25 stacks. Good. As for the gear, I am in full ritualist with runes of the Firebrand, sigils of smoldering and bursting, and I have just a crate relic because I don't have a fractal relic. I can't be asked to farm it on a character that I do not main. And for the build, it's relatively classic. Usually you want to take the flame mantra instead of the signet, but it's less APM, so for the beginners you can take signet too. It's still damage, just a little bit less. And since you are a boon DPS, your first role is to upkeep your boon. So to do that you want to test if you have the ability to do it. With the current gear I should have enough boon duration, but we can check. So I will just give myself alacrity, because in a group content I will always have alacrity on me. And lagging, thank you. I will get into combat with the boss, and then use my quickness skills like that. So I have built up my quickness. Firebrand has a few ways to give themselves more quickness than the others, so you have to shave off 5 seconds of what you have here, and you do not want to press any tom when you test your quickness. But as you can see, I still have quickness when I activate my mantra of quickness again. So I know that I'm pretty much good to go in terms of quickness uptime. I have to press my elite skill and my mantra of potence.
I will need more endurance.
One thing that I forgot about the build, Firebrand wants to use balls of fire mid chili if you want to cap burning duration for more damage. It's, I think, pretty cheap to buy on the trading post, yeah. 7 silver for 1 if you want to insta buy it. So what are your skills that do damage? Because the second most important thing after the boon as boon DPS is to do damage. So you have Axe 2, Axe 3, and your Torch 4, which is a 2-part skill. You have a first active that makes a pulsing fire AoE around you, and then a second one that throws a projectile. You want to press both of them. Then you have your Purging Flames. If you have the flame mantra, you also have a flame mantra. that does damage in a cone in front of you. And then in your first tome you have 5, 4 and 2. They all do massive damage, big AoE, big burning. You're happy. Just to give an expectation, full boons, the golem auto-attacking it to see the minimum we can do if we have 100% uptime on the boss. So we have to auto-attack for a bit because we are condition build, so we need some time to ramp up our damage. This is arc DPS. If you want to see the damage you do on the golem, you will have to. It gives you the damage you do in chat every 20% HP. So here, if I just auto for a bit, you can see that I do around 13-15k DPS. It goes up and down depending on which part of the auto attack chain I'm in. But that's the bare minimum we do, just basically AFKing on the fight. Then no, wrong console. Condition Firebrand has a part of their damage that comes from this skill, that comes from their allies. With this skill you apply to your allies 2 stacks of a buff that when they attack an enemy, they apply burning to them, and the burning counts as your damage. Which means that since you are practicing alone, you have to subtract a bit of DPS from the benchmark. It should be around 3000 DPS. Torch 4 is a flip skill. So, as I said, you can activate the first one to have the pulsing AoE and then the second one to have a projectile. But then you have a trait that every 10 seconds when you do a crit attack, you get a charge for free. So you want to be aware of that. That you will have 2 charges sometimes. Finally, not finally, but another point is Purging Flames has 20 seconds cooldown. Epilogue Ashes of the Just also has 20 seconds of cooldown. So you can get into the habit of always playing Purging Flames into your tome skills to know when you have to enter your tome to do them. Because you want to always play your tome skills together. So again. And you can see the cooldowns will line up if we wait for a bit. Yeah, so then now that we know how to more or less do damage, it's very rough. It's not a proper rotation, it's just knowing what most of your skills do. So I know that I have to upkeep quickness, so that means spamming this skill and this skill of cooldown. This skill and this skill is damage. Same for this, and we have the combo with Purging Flames and the tome skills. And finally, we don't want to interrupt auto attacks, because if we interrupt an auto attack midway, we just waste time without doing any damage. So a very basic rotation. I stress it, it's basic. I'm not a Firebrand main, so it's pretty bad. But just as an idea of what you can do with just a little bit of practice, you can open with all your skills. Then auto attack, finish auto attack chain, press your skills, finish auto attack chain, press your skills. I had the 2 procs that you could see. I will have soon my Purging Flames again, but I am quick DPS, so first of all I have to do my mantra. And then from here on out, it's pretty much the same thing. It's not like World of Warcraft where you have 1 minute burst windows, 2 minutes burst windows, 3 minutes burst windows. The rotations are much shorter but more intense, and they require a lot of APM. not a lot of APM, but you have to be pretty quick. Yeah, I desynced my stuff. I'm not playing very well, but just as an idea, just 22k. You also can see that you're pretty bursty because a lot of your damage comes from your Tom skills, which is pretty rare as secondary DPS. Most secondary DPS just have a flat line that slowly goes up and then plateaus at their DPS ceiling. A few more things, because damage is not all that you can do in the game. CC is very important too. Some bosses have a blue bar. I think you have seen some of them. They are called break bars, and you have to go through them thanks to CC. So I should have. I forgot where it was. No, that's definitely not it. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. But basically, you have some types of skills in the game that do CC. Some CC is static, some CC pushes the mobs around. Axe 3 is a CC. It pulls enemies towards you, like you see the axe going, that's a pull. Axe 2 is just a stun. It does not have any movement effect attached to it. Then you have Tom 2 3, which is a ground targeted pull. Where your mouse is, it will spawn. Special action key, please. So if my mouse is over there, it will spawn over there. And finally, you have in your Taunt 3, you have a Taunt skill. 1 second of Taunt is 100 breakbar damage too. And you also have a utility skill that does a lot of damage. In a lot of fights, as a Firebrand, you have a lot of utility and other skills that you can want. For example, Sanctuary is a very pulses 100 breakbar damage every second for 7 seconds. So if I spawn a golem with a breakbar, I should have done that from the beginning actually. Yep. So if I plop my Sanctuary on top of him, he will take damage every second to his breakbar. Then that's the pull. That's the 2. That's another pull. And that's Tom 3. By the way, you can also track breakbar damage with the RGPS if you ever want to install it. It's a pretty nice software to have. Not software, add-on. And finally, you have also utilities in your toms and in your skills here. So, in Tom 2, you have 2 things that you want to keep track of. Sometimes it's useful. The second skill is the Candy Cleanse. So if you get candy bombed or if your allies are candy bombed, you can press it to instantly alleviate a lot of stress. Same for the fifth one. It's even better, but it has a longer cooldown and a higher page cost. So you may want to keep your pages for some other stuff if you are in a battle of attrition. And in the third one, you have this. It's a projectile block. So if you are standing inside of it, you cannot be hit by almost every projectile in the game. And then this is a stun break for you and your allies. So if you have a mechanic that stuns you, you can use it. And this is stability and edges, which is a very powerful defensive tool that doubles as a preventive stun break, like to prevent stun and to prevent an instance of damage. And then you can sub your Signet of Wrath with another utility on top of it. The important ones, you have Stand Your Ground, instant cast, very short cooldown, gives a lot of stability to a lot of people and is a stun break. It's really good. Advance, instant cast too, 2 charges but longer cooldown, gives edges to your partners too. It's a very long duration edges, you can see it's 30 seconds. But it only blocks 1 attack. And then you can take more CC if you want with the Bane Signet. When you activate it, it does CC. And then you have Wall of Reflection that you can put on the ground, and it makes that kind of screen, and projectiles that go through it get sent back to their sender. It is useful in a couple of situations on specific raid bosses. Finally, if for some reason you're not playing quickness but just DPS Firebrand, you can remove your Feel My Wrath and instead take Mantra of Liberation to have on-demand stability too. Or you can take Renewed Focus for a personal invulnerability on a long cooldown. When you're like that, you don't take any damage. If I think I can activate the piercing on this. No. So I take damage, and if I activate it, I don't. And I even regen HP because I have the regeneration from the console. And I think that's gonna be pretty much it. So yeah, I hope it will help you, and maybe see you soon in the game.